Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we are going to do something a little special. Many of you might know what the Rush Chord is. It's this F-sharp major chord played using also two open strings, the E and the B high strings. They're played open, and since we used to be Rush fans, we included the options to be able to do things like that. I'm going to explain how we can achieve this with Modus Forma Ambient Electric, and also I'm going to explain a few other little tips that could come in handy. So let's start by going to the Rhythmic page and turning on the live detection mode by switching on this button over here. And as you can see, I've already switched on these two buttons over here. When you switch them on, everything that you play on those two strings will always result as the open string sound. Let's switch them off. If I were to play an F-sharp major, and you see that the script recognizes the chord, and then I play the B5 yellow key switch, I hear an F-sharp major chord. But when I switch on these two buttons over here, the F-sharp and the C-sharp notes over here are not playing anymore, but only the B and E open strings are playing. And so this allows us playing things like this. And it would be even better if I set up this one on the second fret. So when I play the G chord, it's like the bar chord moving. And I would have to move it to do an A. And then go back. Or I could simply tell the script to follow my bass note that is in automatic fret position. Now, as you can see, when I set the fretboard position to automatic and I set the E lower string as one of the leading strings, I need to be careful at playing the chords in the correct octave. If I am playing an E major over here, which is the lowest E major I can have, it's going to play correctly here in the first position. But if I play it an octave higher, script is going to follow it, and so it's going to play it higher. When I'm in manual fret position instead, I can play the chords wherever I want, so I can play them here, and the script is going to just try to find the best way to play a chord shape that will work for that fret position. So if I play an F sharp there, and then I trigger my chord, it's going to use that position. If I go there back, it's going to use the Rush chord position. So in that sense, I have multiple options to trigger my chords. Now I'm using a 25 keys keyboard, so I cannot play the key switches and the chords at the same time. Now, since we are using these strumming chords, we could actually use the strumming chords together with the green key switches. So I'm going to switch off these ones and just do a normal chord, like something like that. When I use the strumming down, you see I can embellish my strumming with the same notes of the chord shape. Another thing that we can do in the live chord detection is to use open strings as bass notes. So if I have the E always playing as a bass note, if the chord shape happens to have a note on that string, the open E string will play instead. So for example, if I have E major, so for this purpose, I'm gonna program a little thing here. And I'm going to trigger a few chords over here, like okay, so I did the C major, D major, E minor, and then back. Now trigger the chords positions on the fretboard. On the first chord to be on the 3rd fret. And let's remember to put the fret position key switch before the actual chord triggering. So the second chord, I'd like to have it on the 5th. And now actually let's move this chord a little bit closer to the change. And then this one on the 7th. Yeah, and let's move this one a little bit closer to the change. This one should be a little bit, and then we go back, so there, and we move the chord, so we are sure it's just right before the chord change, and then back again on the 3rd fret, and we move this one as well a little bit closer. But what I could do now would be to enter the advanced arpeggio page and just do a little sequence here. These are the 6 strings, and these are steps. So on the first step I have the E string, on the 3rd step I have the D string, and on the 5th step I have the E and the B string together, and then so on. I leave a little bit of space here. So now if I play this sequence, I'm actually gonna record it. You see that when the fretboard position changes, the chords are changing, but we have a E always sustaining as a root note. If I was to switch off this button, the bass notes now are following the lowest notes of my chords, which in this case I played some inversions. Here they have a G, and then it goes to A and to a B. But if I switch on this button, I will have a consistent E playing as a bass. I could also make the advanced arpeggio playing double speed and reduce the BPM in my DAW, so we could hear all the 4 chords in action. If I turn these chords from inversion to the root position, and then maybe I play them a little bit lower, you see that the root notes are on the 5th strings at this point. Even if this button is on, it doesn't affect anymore the chord. That's the reason why I played the inversions in the first place, so the chord shape could include also the E string as the bass note. What I could do, I could switch on this button, so now the open A string will play. And if we go back to the inversions, and then we force the E and B strings to play open, while still forcing the lower E string open, let's see what happens. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.